And it looks like Adhiban didn't shy away. He took on a4, which is a very serious decision because, as we see in the game, we saw briefly in the game, these two guys are not a joke. So
yeah, I mean the 1 second we got onto the live board looked pretty scary to me.
Yeah, so bishop f5 attacking this one. Wondering why c3 wasn't played. That looks very natural to me. I'm not sure. Bishop to f3, d4, and now it looks very scary. c3 feels like a normal blockading move.
Yeah, I mean, I don't understand what's happened here. Because if we just look very quickly at what happened in the game, so bishop f3, d4, a5, and he basically just...
Well, he's got his own dreams with pawn going to a7. We might be underestimating
the white
prospects here, because we're not going to stop this pawn from coming to a7, and it is supported by the bishop. So it just looks particularly scary because there's two pawns, but imagine we go d3.
I mean, once again, it's this one I think is one of the, for us commentators, it's very difficult because it's all about just calculating.
Yeah,
like,
for example,
we can't really give just general assessment.
No, it's very sort of like it's either good or bad, based on the concrete moves. But here, for example, this is a very tough one. I could even play something like rook to a8, and I'm not sure you want to be taking that. And yeah, we've got. Let's go back to the initial position. We got Magnus thinking after rook to c1. The one thing is, if d3 is not a move, then it's not that scary suddenly.
You're right. Because what are the alternatives?
Rook to b1 is one move that sort of sparked my interest, because after exchanging, I suddenly have the c pawn running as well. So, for example, I really don't know if these are the best moves, but imagine this. I'm trying to queen. You're stopping me, but now you actually are probably losing because I just connect my pawns.
Is it maybe better? Does it change anything if I stop you from c7?
It probably does. It probably does. Yeah, there's some funny lines here, like let's say d3. I have this idea of playing rook d7 somewhere, but I can't make it work yet. I don't know how to make it work, actually.
Yeah, I mean, because the rook needs to continue covering. So
yeah. So rook b1 is actually possible.
I guess we have to take on b1.
Or we have to, or this is an option, maybe. Yeah, it feels like I should take though. Yeah.
Maybe. Okay, a6 also seems to make sense. I don't think we.
c3. Yeah, he's played rook b1. Rook b1, yeah, feels like a very good move. Actually, of course I haven't calculated it out like Magnus has, but ever since this move was on the board, I'm feeling a little bit worried for Adhiban.
Yeah, I agree, and I'm still slightly curious why, in the position where you said c3 looked so natural, why we even allowed all of this.
Instead of bishop f3, right?
Yeah.
Here. Could it be that he was afraid of d4 anyway? It's a very crude approach, but you have this move, you have this move, you could even take with your pawn, but I just want to get the c2 and...
Okay, let me see. So if I take on d4 with the rook?
Yeah, if you take on d4 with the rook, I play c3.
Okay.
And actually, you might just have a lost position.
Yeah.
Because I'm just going to go c2 or
I'm
rook
suddenly
b1.
just looking at that and I'm like, wow, that pawn's a bit too close for comfort.
Yeah. Okay, so we understand Adhiban's choice a bit better now, but that means that suddenly things got really bad very fast.
I mean, maybe this a4 thing was just very...
Very clever.
Yeah.
Bishop f5. Yeah, c3 d4. I mean, this one is even more.
Okay, so let's look at this one. Yeah.
Yeah, d takes c3 is the idea, I think.
And
Again.
there's so many pieces. Like there's so many options here. What if? What if? What if? Okay, what if I simply play rook c1? You just play c2, yeah?
Yeah, I'm gonna play... Well, you have bishop b3.
Mm. But can you take that?
I don't think I can take it yet, because check, rook e1.
Oh, we have rook e1, yeah. Okay, by the way, the game between Sergei Karyakin and Vishyana...
Around, but...
But yeah, I also sort of hope that Hui Fan will manage to hold on, because I think especially in tournaments like this one that is so strong and so long, if you start with 0 out of 2, it can quickly become very, very tough.
Yeah, there's one thing though, which is that don't underestimate how experienced she is.
Mm-hmm.
She actually has played here many times in the A group. She won BO last year, which is an amazingly strong tournament. Like, whenever I look at her rating, I'm like, oh, that's going to be hard. She's only 2680. But then I think about how much more experience she has than an average 2680, that we shouldn't just forget about that. But obviously she is not having the best start. And again, this position I'm not feeling too good about either.
I mean, I think Mamedyar is going to win this game.
Yeah, I do think he's a heavy favorite here. It looks like there's something going on in Magnus's game, so let's go back there. Yes, some moves were made here, and Magnus is now up a pawn. Okay, so moving back. Rook to c1, rook b1 was played, takes. Rook c7 is not a move that we really considered.
Let's just update our live board.
Yeah, if we can update our
live board so people can see the position on the board. And
here c3 was played. You have to play bishop to d1. And here Magnus played rook to a8. So you can't really advance your pawns over here. Oh, let me just move this. Rook to a8, trying to pick up this a pawn. Rook c5, protecting it. And now we see how he won the other a pawn. Bishop takes a2. Bishop c2 now blocking. And now bishop e6 was played, king to f1. Okay, so the question is, can Magnus get his rook to, for example, b2 over here? And just pick up the bishop, playing something like rook b2, let's say. I have the feeling he played incredibly quickly, by the way. I don't remember how much time he had, but I know that Adhiban wasn't down to 5 minutes. I think he had 15 or 20. Yeah. So it almost seems like he blitzed out his moves. And it's very close now, because if Adhiban can just bring in the king, he's gonna draw this game.
Rook c8 is on the board.
Okay, trying to change the rooks. Okay, I think Fiona, you have to change here, because otherwise, there's no square pretty much. So takes.
And now what?
So bishop a6 check is a very big threat. For example, if you go here, you're not in time, because c2, and you're just losing. So bishop to d3 feels almost forced. I think it is forced, but actually it's losing. For the same reason.
Yeah. Okay, so we need to find another move.
Yes, but maybe it's losing. We do have to... Okay, let's try king to e1.
Yeah.
Bishop a6. Bishop to e4, d3, and now, I don't know, king... You know, the problem is, in this position, your king has to stay on like e1, otherwise this is promoting. But I am going to do this.
Yeah. Yeah, this probably is just lost, yeah?
It looks lost to me. And normally when Magnus is playing this fast, he's very sure about his about what's happening. Yeah, so I don't feel that bad unless I'm not seeing something here, but I wasn't finding any solution for white. I was also stuck making losing attempts. So.
But in that case, where do you think white's mistake was?
He must have done something horribly wrong around this a4 moment. I can't imagine that this is already very bad. Yeah, it could be a little bit unpleasant, but it shouldn't be lost. I don't think so.
I think we should stick around with this one.
We're gonna stick around because he's also low on time, Adhiban, and he's thinking.
I mean, as we just pointed out, it's just extremely difficult to even.
Yeah, I mean the key move here is just bishop a6,
and look at Magnus. I mean, did you see his face there for a second? His face was sort of saying, "I've got this all figured out." Now he's thinking, "Oh, I'm gonna make it in time to watch the football, which is starting 18 minutes. I'm a big Liverpool fan.
Liverpool's playing, right? Yeah.
They're playing against City, which I think Magnus will watch.
Yeah, he likes all sorts of football, I think.
No, I think, Magnus has this all figured out. He almost looks a bit... You know, I think this game sort of in his mind, it's already over. And he's moving on to...
Yeah, no, this, again, a bishop a6 and d3, it must be done. But let's see if Adhiban, maybe he will simply resign. Yeah. It's possible.
I think it is very possible.
And that means that Magnus was complaining about always having a bad start at the opening ceremony. Well, this is not so bad of a start, especially considering that the line we had in this game is so drawish. I want to say that 90% of the games there finish in a draw. Yeah. So having a relatively easy win from an opening that you maybe don't necessarily feel great about if you're trying to beat your opponent is definitely what I would call a good start. King e2 is on the board and check is on the board.
I like how Magnus doesn't want to lose any more time with this.
King d1 is going to be played and d3 will be played.
Oh, King f3. What is that?
King f3. I suppose you can just play d3 here.
Yeah. I don't understand.
I also don't really.
Magnus also doesn't understand.
Magnus is not really having it either.
I think we'll see a shine check here.
Yeah. Yeah, he has a particular way of expressing his opinion about certain moves.
Opinion. Opinion is
without using any verbal ways.
I sometimes wish I could know what goes through Magnus, and there we have the handshake.
All right.
So Magnus moving to 1.5 out of 2. Off to a good start this year at Tata Steel Chess.
All right, Magnus winning with black, and maybe we will get an interview in a little bit. They're just talking about the games right now.
Actually, it's weird. They didn't really talk so much about the game. I was also expecting, but I think Adhiban will be very disappointed here.
Well, if we have an interview, we will tune into there in a minute or so. And while we're waiting for that, we're gonna switch back.
Let's quickly have a look at the time situation just in the Caruana Jones game.
Or the position.
Also, I like how I'm just interested. Just want to see what the time situation is.
Again, many moves have been played here.